Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to continue our presentation for the last group to critical review and second language stations. Now, I'd like to invite the first speaker to deliver their speech. Without further ado, the time is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Group 5. In exchange, we would like to present our presentations about research on second language acquisitions. Next. Meri Miranda, Anggraeini Puspita, and me, Nurhayani. Our research title is Second Language Acquisitions. The slide before. Okay. Our research title, Second Language Acquisition Research and Applied Linguistic by Puspita in 2005, with the title Second Research and Applied Linguistic. Okay, next. Okay, in the introductions, research on second language acquisitions has expanded enormously since captions. Studies of SLA have increased in as researchers have addressed a wider range of ask new questions and work within multiple methodologies. At the same time, the field has become increasingly bidirectional, and theories and researchers have emerged, which and even more so, learning. The applications to the study of SLA fruitful. Next. The purpose of this paper is to provide view of second language acquisitions, research over the past and to highlight the way in which it has its original applied and linguistic interest, and change them by addressing questions about acquisitions. As the paper will illustrate, SLA research has become increasingly bidirectional and motivated in applications. Okay, disciplinary context. The SLA research and applied linguistics define researches on SLA within the field of applied linguistics was once a straightforward task. Question focused on practical concern in language teaching, addressed through linguistic principles and psychological theories of learning. At the time of its, the field of applied linguistics was gathered from linguistic structuralism and behaviorism psychology. Language was characterized as a system that could divide into sounds and structures. Language acquisition was information that served as student imitated and practiced sounds and structures, and were given positive reinforcement of corrective feedback as needed. Okay, next. Next, please. And the second point is just and language in acquisition studies. SLA also be placed within the domain of language acquisition studies on bilingualism as it relates to the course of primary language development. Also found in His work on foreign language acquisitions refer to foreign language learning is distinguished by lack of access to second language outside the classroom and by factors that affect an individual learner's motivation and goals. Next. Okay, the traditions and controversies will explain by Miranda.
Okay, next, tradition, trends, concern, and controversies. Okay, second language acquisition have existed for as long as parents have been keeping diaries of their children's language development. However, many second language acquisition researchers will argue that the formal study of second language acquisition was launched in 1967 with Corder publications. The significance of learners' error, Corder's 1967, its construct of transitional competence, together with research on interlanguage, and data description through error analysis, laid the groundwork for most of the early studies in the field and has an impact which is felt today. Since that time, moreover, the field of second language acquisition has grown at the remarkable pace. So much so that in the course of a single paper, it is difficult to cover the enormous number of topics addressed, finding relevant and factor considered in second language research. Research on interlanguage development. Second language acquisition research has focused on describing the learner's interlanguage and identifying sequence of pattern of development. The focus has been primarily on grammatical development. Since interlanguage are systematic, they follow rules and patterns that change over the course of second language development, but do so in pattern way. For example, we play baseball yesterday. We won. Might develop into we played baseball yesterday. We won. Before past regular and irregular form as throughout. Next, perspective of language and cognitive theories. Morpheme accuracy order. Drawing on the work of Brown on morpheme orders in children learning English as their first language, Dulay and Bird, 1973 and 1974, asked to what extent second language children reflected this sequence. Children from different first language backgrounds who were learning English in a variety of classrooms were asked to describe pictures that provided context for their suppleance of grammatical morphemes such as plural, as an ending and verb puncture. Verb and phrasal negative. Negative structure appear to follow a similar sequence of development which involves negative particle placement as well as verb tense and number making. Initial, a negative particle, usual, no or not, is placed next to the item in negative, negates, as in no like or I no like. This just the position reflect universal strategy of communication and grammar management. Next, question formation. Learning to from question involves multiple stages. The stage involve the acquisition of yes or no and WH question type, as well as inversion and printing formation movement. Stage 1 is characterized by the use of single word and formulaic expressions. The learner uses declarative word order, fronting of a WH word and do begin to appear, resulting in expression inversion of WH in copular question appear questions, and appearance of inversion in question that require do support through lexical verb, appearance of complex or less frequently used question from among the complex form that emerge are question tags. Next, relativation. The acquisition of relative clause structure relates to both of different sentence position in which relativation can occur as well as the way in which in this encoded through the use of relative pronouns such as who, which, and that. In substitution for their referent pronouns such as the woman helps me with my English and the woman is my neighbors relativized into the woman who helped me with my English is my neighbors. And then word order. The learner use individual word phrases, analyze, formula, and chunks. In stage 2, they move on the simple sentence string of sentence elements, usual subject verb object structure. In stage 3, they begin to manipulate sentence constituent, seen mainly in adverbal movement from sentence final to sentence initial position. Thus, she could read the book yesterday become yesterday she could read the book. Okay, next is explained by Mbak Anggraeini.
Thank you, Mary. Next is research on second language acquisition processes. The first process is introduction. This introductory section will review current theories in linguistic and psychology that have been applied to question on the second language acquisition process. Later section will highlight their application to data on the sequences of interlanguage development, discuss some of the new questions and studies that the theories have motivated and attempt to sort out the controversies that have been created by their presence in the field. Next. Next, please. Research on second language acquisition processes as an applied enterprise. SLA research has looked to linguistic and psychology to guide its question, shape its hypothesis, and explain its findings. From linguistic, the theories on universal properties and principle of language have shed light on the regularities and constraints that characterize interlanguage grammar and have led to more principal research on the role of the L1 in the learning process. The native perspective on language acquisition that undergate much of this research has served to invigorate the long-standing debate in the field as to the role of explicit rule learning in the SLA process and the need for explicit rule teaching in the classroom. From psychology, the cognitive theories have had a highly productive impact on SLR research and its application. Cognitively informed studies have revealed the ways in which learners cognitively informed studies have revealed the ways in which learners process L2 input and use it to build and restructure. Next. Next, please. So we can conclude that research on second language acquisition process. There are 6 processes. The first is language universal, linguistic universal, cognitive theories, cognitive process, input and interaction, cognitive processes and evidence, cognitive perspective on L2 knowledge. Next. The language universals mean the notion of a universal is not new to the field of linguistics, but has provided but um explanation of SLA sequences and prediction of SLA outcomes. Language universals reflect consistencies in the typology or surface features of a broad range of word languages. These universal properties vary according to features such as their frequency and level of significance. These comprise what linguists refer to as markedness. The second is linguistic universal. The linguistic universals reflects constraint on the form of human languages. The linguistic universal that have had the most impact on SLA research are the innate principles of universal grammar, or they are viewed as a genetic endowment or property of mind, and a binary system of options known as parameter, each with marked and unmarked setting that configure into a core grammar. The next is cognitive theory. The cognitive theory itself are concerned with mental processes used for skill building and skill learning. Cognitive theories are concerned with mental processes used for skill building and skill learning. Next. Next, please. The cognitive processes, input and interaction, that samples of L2 are needed by learners as a source of input for their learning has long been a basic assumption of second language acquisition research. The next is cognitive processes and evidence. Increasingly, researchers have come to observe that L2 learning is a much more conscious experience than was 21 heretofore believed. Drawing on his own experience as a Portuguese L2 learner in an out of classroom in Brazil, Smith found that cognitive processes such as attention and noticing were crucial to his L2 learning. The frequency with which he heard complex features of Portuguese and the salience of their form or position in input were two factors that helped Smith to notice them. The next is cognitive perspective on L2 knowledge. The theoretical claims that L2 learning is a much more conscious process than was heretofore believed, and an experience that can benefit from both input and feedback. It has reactivated to the long-standing debate in the field regarding L2 learning and its relation to L2 knowledge. Next. So the conclusion and the future direction is: the first is about research aims, the second is application of findings, the third is the handful of longitudinal studies, and the fourth is future studies. Next. Thank you. Do you have any question for us? That's all our explanation. Iyalah semuanya. If no question, can we close our presentation?
I would like to ask the question.
Yes, Fahmi.
Sorry, it's a bit noisy here. So could you please explain about CPH theory related to SLA?
I'm sorry.
CPH mean creative particle of high theory. Bro Fahmi. Fahmi. Oh, Fahmi.
Yes, CPH, critical period hypothesis.
CPH theory, it has been attempted to scrutinize the interface between classical mechanics, relativity, and quantum mechanics, thought a novel approach to destabilize physical event. CPH theory is to draw attention on the importance of constancy of speed in relation to the mass structure, which will be scrutinized in reviewing relativistic Newton's second law.
Maeng, are you serious in answering the questions?
Order please, Chut.
Could you repeat the explanation clearly because I can't hear your explanation clear?
CPH theory is creative particles of high theory. It has been attempted to scrutinize the interface between classical mechanics, relativity, and quantum mechanics through a novel approach to the statistical physical event. Ngerti juga. In second language acquisition, CPH holds the function between learners' age and their susceptibility to the second language input is linear.
How me? Is that satisfies your questions? If not, we will time. Give us time to prepare questions.
I can hear your voice so clearly, and I'm in the road, so I can't get my concentration here. Please respond. If my answer not clear or your question I didn't understand.
Bang Fahmi, maybe you could repeat your question first.
Please give some experts opinions about CPH related to second language acquisition.
I will give you the expert opinion about CPH. According to Eric Landberg in the International Journal of Liberal Arts and Social Science, it's about School of Foreign Language, China West Normal University. She said she puts the quotation that CPH focus on the acquisition of a first language. Nevertheless, it is essential to our understanding of the nature of the hypothesis critical period to determine whether or not it extends as well to second language acquisition. Can you hear me, Mas Fahmi?
Yes. Could you give some examples?
Example what?
Case study related to CPH.
According to the literature review that I have just explained to you, the literature review on critical period hypothesis is about School of Foreign Languages, China West Normal University. Ini tentang apa ya? Oh, in his journal, explain about the rule types test in grammatically judgment task. Example about what? You know, I'm in my final assignment in my skripsi. I didn't make yang kayak gini nih ya. Pokoknya skripsiku tuh bukan tentang ini, bukan tentang pendidikan. It's not quantitative, so I make the qualitative. Maybe Yani or Mary will explain more.
Okay, please give us to prepare for the answer. Okay, I will explain the of HPH. Yeah, for example, the HPH means period hypothesis. The example is older rarely achieve a near native accent. Many people suggest this is due to them being beyond a critical period. For example, in classroom, a problem arising from between young learner and adults is that that they cannot learn language well. Teachers can help learners with this belief in various ways. For example, by talking about the learning process and learning styles, helping set realistic goals, choosing suitable methodologies, and addressing emotional needs of the adult learner. Like they have to put their think about something. For example, they want to learn something, to struggle for it.
So
How Brother
Fahmi?
Yes, I think that's enough for your explanation. I understand now. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time. So thank you for all the member of the last group, and then also for all of the participants. And now, thank you everyone, and you may close your presentations. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your we are very sorry if uh, we don't provide a good answer. Okay, thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.